Consider our wealth of natural resources, ideal geographical location, manageable landscape, and fertile soil, abundant land, and a small population. Consider also that we speak the world's leading language, have multiple diverse cultures, and we are a warm and welcoming people. What then is preventing us from creating the Guyana that we all desire? What if Guyana lived up to its potential?
Good evening, everyone. This is episode 8 of the Face in the Future television program. Face in the Future is an initiative by a group of civil society organizations whose aim is to improve the integrity, accountability, and citizens' participation and interest in political life in Guyana. In today's program, we'll continue with our usual segments. We have our electoral reform segment where we'll be interviewing our MPs. We have the community challenges and also our issues of concern. Up first, we'll have Tiari, where we'll be joining our younger generation to see what they have been up to in their communities. So let's join her.
In today's segment, I'd like to highlight some more public service announcements done by some high school students. These were done to draw attention to more environmental issues. Let's take a look at 3 clips.
Don't give music and take this slow night.
Come on, boss, just like us. E to the R. Representing the world. With all these girls. Chop back.
No, we got that.
Take out your hand out. Click my finger, girl, on the roll with me, yeah. Say them on the stroll with me, girl, from all over the world in all the West Indies, yeah. Say them for such as the importance of click my finger, girl, on the roll with me, yeah. Say them on the stroll with me, girl, from all over the world in all the West Indies, yeah. Say them fall in love with me, and click my finger, girl, on the roll with me, yeah. Say them on the stroll with me, girl, from all over the world in all the West Indies, yeah. Say them fall in love with me, all I fight through them one bit close. Ms. Higgins, please answer the question.
Hi, I'm Rishma. I like my school, it's nice. I like my class, it's clean and bright. But there's one thing wrong with my school that nobody talks about. It's our toilet. Believe it or not, that was the girls' washroom. No one doing those toilets. Not me or my friend Shabana, no one.
Goes in. Every time I pass a place, I get sick when I want to go to the toilet. I wait till I go home.
So, where do girls go when they want to go to the washroom?
You know what's the sad thing? There are lots of schools with the same toilet like ours.
Too many clean schools with nice classrooms and no proper toilets. Why aren't we talking about it?
Thanks for waiting. I just got the result back from the lab. Are you sure you've never done it?
No, Dr. Johnson. Never. I don't understand.
What do you mean you don't understand? So how you get it?
Well, your results show that you have a respiratory tract infection.
Melissa, just tell the truth. You smoking?
No, Mom. But you do.
A great job indeed by those students. And it just goes to show that if you are concerned about something and you would like to see a change, you can contribute to improving the situation. Whether it affects you directly, as you have seen the students from Bushlot Secondary School with the sanitary problem, or indirectly, like secondhand smoking, or if it's something as common like loud music in minibuses. As seen in the PSAs, the problems were not solved. But trust me, a lot of attention was drawn towards the issues. Now, hopefully, the relevant authorities could now produce the desired results. If you're interested in taking up a challenge, remember, we have kits to help you get started. Feel free to call the number on our screen for any advice, whether you're a teacher, a student, part of a group, or a church. Get in contact and make a difference in your community.
Budget experience of the parliamentarians. We're fortunate to speak with some of the members of parliament who shared their experiences and reactions to their first major parliamentary issue, the national budget. We weren't concerned with the nitty-gritty aspects of the budget or the budget cuts or the commotion that followed, but we're more so interested in hearing from the MPs and their first-time experience in parliament and how it measures up to what they expected of being an MP. So take a look at these interviews. Good evening, everyone. We're here with Mr. Trevor Williams, an MP of the Alliance for Change Party. How are you?
Hello, good evening, Kerry, and I must say thank you for having me on the Parliament is very unique in this country. Never before had we an opposition, minority government, and also the expectations and the awareness of how Parliament works and expectations across Guyana has jumped up and come alive.
So what specific issue do you deal with in Parliament, or are you interested in?
I particularly would be covering the natural resources, of course youth, sports and culture, and I'm on the Public Accounts Committee in the Parliament as well.
So have you done any work in these fields before?
I have worked in the Caribbean Youth Environmental Network as a Guyana member and coordinated activities here, but most of all the exposure that the organization gives you and the awareness that is raised on how critical, how important this environment is and how we should look at it. As you can see, there is now exploration for oil, rice and gold, etc. So I'm very interested in seeing that this sector is secured.
How will you, now being an MP, be able to help in this area more than you probably could previously?
Well, there's a couple points of entry, I believe. One is, as a representative of the people elected to serve you, I believe it's critical that you first be on the ground, know what the issues are. You have to know realistically, not everything that people say they want or they need, or just because they can call and you as an MP and you attack the government for it, or you have to be realistic.
So now that you're an MP, how do you make yourself available to the persons on the street who have general issues or concerns that they want to raise?
Parliamentarians owe it to themselves, their parties, and the people to be more people-friendly. You should not be an insulated individual who's just driving around with tinted windows and you're going through the police barriers and the people out there are wondering, well, what are they doing? And you're just passing in your suit. We're ordinary people, but most of all, we are there because people wanted us there. You have what I would call access, as a national representative of the people. you can really get to places where the ordinary man, more or less, one, can't go, and two, wouldn't find it in their best interest to go.
What so far would you say is the most encouraging and the most offsetting part of being an MP now?
Well, great, very good question. In one day you could have experience with both. To know that you are in a position to really be heard and bring changes, and also at the same time you have to act responsible too. While I know there is place for heckling and people smirching each other, using their time on the floor, I think a lot of the senior people, particularly from the government side, have so grown accustomed to be dominant in the parliament, is that I think they generally forget that, hey, it has changed now, you got to be some more responsible and accountable, and hence people make some very, very fast, I say, calculated, preempting speeches and comments, and I think a lot of them are really unworthy and uncalled for in that level of discourse.
Well, Mr. Williams, thank you very much for being here and sharing your views as an MP and with our young people and our public out there. So you've just seen Mr. Trevor Williams from the AFC party. We were unable to get Ms. Vidya Prasad from the People's Progressive Party. She was unavailable, so hopefully we'll get to interview her in another show. But today we have with us Ms. Annette Ferguson from the APNU. So welcome you, Ms. Annette Ferguson. So Ms. Ferguson, how would you say your first parliamentary experience was compared to what you expected?
Well, first of all, I must say that it was a challenging one, because I did not expect that under this new dispensation we would have been able to achieve so many things coming out from the 2012 budget. As of previous parliaments, you would have recognized that the government, they had full power, or the majority then in previous parliaments, but now in the 10th parliament it's a whole new dispensation.
So what would you say is the most encouraging part of that?
Well, the most encouraging part is that, to be honest, I strongly believe is that now you have the combined opposition parties, more or less having a one-seat majority within the National Assembly. And most importantly, as I said before, we were able to achieve some aspects of the budget, more or less for the interests of the people in Guyana.
So other than that, what was most offsetting from the parliamentary session?
Offsetting? It's just that the way in which parliamentarians behave more or less from the opposite side of the house. I'm referring here to the government. You know, I did not believe what my eyes were actually seeing, you know, sitting on the western half of the house, how mature people who more or less perceive themselves as leaders behave in the National Assembly.
So what specific issue are you hoping to address in Parliament, and have you done any work in this area before?
Well, my parliamentary portfolio is public health. I more or less will be working along with the Shadow Minister of Health, which is Dr. Norton, George Norton, right? But I have not done any work prior to now in public health. But I have some amount of idea and knowledge what public health is all about.
So based on that, what would you say motivated you to become an MP?
It's the people who motivated me. Reason being is that as a social worker, you know, when I was doing my projects, so to speak, and we had to visit groups and families, you know, I was taken aback to see how people are actually living in this country.
So even though you are new to Parliament, what would you like to see done differently?
Let us work together for the common cause of the Guyanese people. Let us put nation first rather than our party's interest or self-interest. That is what I would like to see.
So there we have it, some of our first-time parliamentarians. They share their goals and experiences of this 10th parliamentary session, which is truly a revolutionary time for our country, having our leaders coming together on common grounds and making decisions for the overall interest of our country. So I do hope that you enjoy that. Up next, we have Tishana, who will be continuing with this topic a little further. She has a group of young people who are eager to comment on the issue. So here she is.
Thank you, Carrie-Ann. I'm here with some students from the University of Guyana, and along with you, we've just seen some of the interviews with the members of parliament. So we're just going to have a little chat about what we've just seen, but first off, let's have some introductions.
Hi, my name is Jan Carrington.
Hi, I'm Onika Stellenberg, an environmental science major.
Hi, I'm Devika Sama, the computer science major.
Hey, I'm Karna Pitt, Faculty of Technology.
I'm Christina Bassels, biology student.
My name is Isan Evans and I'm a civil engineering student.
Okay, since it's been all over the news and on the streets, television, we've all been somewhat forced to have an opinion about the budget. Does it make you more interested in knowing about politics, or are you more turned off from it?
I have an interest in politics and I have wanted to go into parliament, but my concern is, would my views have an impact on any of the discussions that are being made? Would I be able to say what I feel without having to feel any reprimand or any repercussions of my thoughts and opinions?
Depends on what they're talking about. One time you will be interested in it, and then sometime you might hear this talk about some stupidness, and then you'll be like, no, I don't want to be concerned about that.
It's more or less like a back and forth issue, you know. They're not actually coming on common grounds. Okay, let's sit down, decide on something and move forward. They're just going back and forth all the time. So it's like sometimes my interest is there, but then it fluctuates.
Okay, we all saw it from the outside and the MPs saw it from the inside. Do you think that we're all on the same page, or do the members of parliament see something that we don't see?
I think that sometimes we're on the same page, and sometimes the views which the member of parliament present in parliament are sometimes disconnected from the persons. At times it might seem as though they're just presenting things that might get votes or might win persons over.
Generally, do you have a positive impressions of MPs?
But I think that they should go out in the streets, get the views of the people, and get into parliament and debate on the benefits that could benefit the entire Guyana.
Okay, first of all, I think that for them to get there, right, they had some phase in life where they would say, okay, I'm interested in change, I'm interested in the people and all these things. They act all down to earth or concerned about you. But when they get into office, then it's totally different.
Well, I do not see why it is. If you're for the people, you must wait until something happens, then you must look. It's a part, or it's a quality of good leadership to be proactive. You need to envision that something will occur and you need to make provision for it.
So, Christina, do you have a positive impression of members of parliament?
Politics is something that you can easily fall in line with, right? As much as you would say before you go into parliament, you would be like, oh, I am the advocate for change, right? I represent change for all my Guyanese people and everything, right? But when you go into parliament, it's totally something different, because when all of these like matters and everything of the veterans in the parliament, right, are being pushed forward to you, it's kind of hard to go against it because you're a novice to this.
So you're saying they would fall in line with their party based on what you've written?
At the end of the day, we're looking at the advancement of Guyana as a whole and not the advancement of any particular party. So they should stop with the party politics and start with politics of the people. What are the issues that affect the people? What are the results that the people want to see, and how it is they should go about reaching these results?
Yeah, which brings to my point. No one is actually staying rooted in their opinion to actually move Guyana forward, because one person can go in and say, yes, this is what Guyana needs for change and this is what Guyana actually requires, right? But as soon as you go into it, right, they fall in line with their older party members. If only the person who's advocating for change had stayed rooted, then maybe some small amount of change will have resulted.
Have you ever seen an MP in your community?
No.
Or when there are meetings, would you go to a meeting? If the community meetings.
Come to the community. That's the question. Would they ever come to the community? They don't meet there.
Well, they would come to our community, but the issues that they come to discuss, it's not irrelevant to the community at that point in time.
What could you possibly tell them to make themselves available? Because I don't think there are parliamentary offices for the parliamentarians. They all have different jobs. Yes. So how could they make themselves available?
The appointments actually work. That's the only way you can actually keep an order in an office building, right? That's protocol, right? So you make your appointments, you can go in, but most times when we make our appointments, we more go with an abusive attitude, and who wants to listen to an abusive person? And I think that is why they have to be so reactive to us, and that's what leads to the protest. But if you go in a level-headed kind of way and you put down like, okay, so is the case, right? I think that will get their attention. Even letter writing, I think the tradition of letters should come back into place, because letters actually used to be, a way of getting someone's attention, right?
Oh, yeah, you make a great point, but we must not be go begging for some help, As a person, I elected you within Parliament. You're supposed to stand up for me and say, well, this is what's supposed to be happening for this community or that community.
And if they hardly get out in the public, they hardly interact with the people, that means, well, they're hardly going to be people friendly. But if they come out more, they see what are the problems in the community. They, like you said earlier, they just drive around, they go point to point. I think we should drive around the community, see what's the problem, talk to the people. That therefore they'll make them more people friendly.
But you do realize that some of the issues that we raise have to do with us individuals ourselves. For example, everybody goes to complain, oh, the water systems are clogged, why can't you do anything about it? But you do realize that the persons who are complaining are also contributors to that problem.
Okay, my final question is, the Speaker of Parliament suggested that they might erect big screens outside or have loudspeakers broadcasting parliamentary sessions. Could you see yourself going to any of these sessions?
Yes, I will be going to some of those meetings, based on the benefits that will be there for me, if there are any. As I can see right now, they are in Parliament, they're debating on the future of young people. If it's that, I'll be there.
Okay, and another thing, just in addition, could you see yourself approaching any of the parliamentarians just to start talking, have a feel with them?
Yes, I would like to have a one-on-one with the parliamentarians.
Well, this depends on the topic in which they would be talking about in Parliament. Would it be applicable to us as individuals? That's the first thing we should look at.
Yeah, I totally agree with what Isan said earlier. I think that if the topic is relevant, well, then we will show some sort of interest in going and see what the parliamentarians are planning for our future and what's not.
Personally, I think I will attend some of these sessions, but I have a problem with them going on about these matters for a very long time, covering 2-3 days, and then the confusion at the park here. But I will pass in sometimes. In terms of meeting the parliamentarians, I'm willing to meet all of them if they're willing to meet with the people.
I would definitely go. I think this is something you can definitely learn from. I don't care what the topic is, because every topic we discuss in Parliament has some sort of effect on the people, whether directly or indirectly. Some may appeal, some may not, but at the end of the day, it's issues affecting Guyana. And at a meeting with the parliamentarians, most definitely, because some of them, you really need to sit down and get your views out there. Because their meeting, the whole Parliament meeting does not just cover everything.
I think that what the parliamentarians can do is to continue to broadcast their sessions on air, on radio, as well as publish some of their bills in the newspaper, because persons do read the newspaper. But I will continue to stay at home and look at it. I understand, yes, they want to make it more interactive with the youth and have the big screen outside and have the speakers outside, but it might be a bit congested as many persons would crowd around an area to listen to what is going on in Parliament. So I prefer to be at home.
Okay, thank you guys for your time.
Welcome.
Thank you.
You've seen the views of some students from the University of Guyana, and I'm sure those of you out there have your own views and opinions about what we've just witnessed. Okay, for us at FTF, we are hoping that what we're doing is encouraging to young people more so to try to get involved in politics, try to know more about Parliament and getting acquainted with the parliamentarians. If you have any ideas or topics you'd like to see us address in next month's episode, please feel free to contact us on any of the information you've been seeing running at the bottom of the screen.
Well, this brings us to the end of today's show. We must thank you for staying tuned. The Facing the Future television program is a civil society initiative aimed at improving political life here in Guyana. In today's program, we focused once again on parliamentarians, a continuation from our last show, which dealt with the roles of parliamentarians and who they represent. This time, we were able to interview first-time members of Parliament who shared their experiences from this parliamentary exercise on the national budget and also their overall goals and expectations for the country. After which we had a very interactive session with a group of young people who shared their views on the roles of MPs. They expressed that new MPs seem to advocate change, but eventually they conform to party lines, and they wish that there were more measures in place to know more about what these MPs are planning to do and wish to do. So, something to note. In the earlier part of the show, we had our young people addressing environmental issues. So there you have it. I would just like to make a special appeal towards our signature campaign. Remember, it is still on. We are hoping to end this petition in July, so please help us to reach our 10,000 target. You can encourage persons to sign up online at our website at www.facingthefuture.com.gy, and you can also learn more about each specific reform that we're interested in achieving. To all our usual viewers, we thank you so much for sending emails and calling us. We appreciate all your views and all your comments. So, see you until next time.